We are ready and the meeting is yours, sir.
Okay, this is January 6th, 2021. This is the Coventry Zoning Board of Review meeting, and at this time here, I'd like to approve the 2021 submitted calendar dates. I don't know if everybody got a chance to look at that, but that's our calendar dates for year 2021 meetings.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I got a
Second.
motion to approve. Do I have a second on it?
Second that, Bob.
Okay, Denise is second that. All those in favor say aye.
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 Ayes? Ayes have it. Okay, at this time here, I'd also like to approve the minutes of November 4th, 2020. We had a chance to take a look at the minutes, and do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay,
Seconded.
Pete has made the motion, seconded by Russ. All those in favor say aye.
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 Ayes? Ayes have it.
Mr.
Okay,
Chair, if I may, please?
Yep.
I'd just like to make an announcement for the folks that are watching, because we have some applications that are being continued this evening. Kerry, can you handle that for me, please?
Yes. So tonight, Joseph Shaw, due to a mistake in the abutters letters, he is requesting to be moved to February. And we are going to continue the Bosworth matter. I just don't have a date certain for Bosworth.
okay. Okay, everybody all set on that? Okay, at this time here, I'd like to do a ratification of the following applications. Town of Coventry, Columbus Energies, Inc., and this is at Lot 59, Lot 13. I'm sorry, that's Assessors Plot Map 59, Lot 13, 1675 Flat River Road, zoned I1. This is to install the liquid propane station in the bus yard in the northeast section of the parking lot. Do I have a motion to ratify this decision?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. We ratify that decision.
Second it.
Is that Russ?
Yep.
Okay. Second it. Okay, indeed, man. Okay. I'm gonna, all those, I'm gonna have roll call, or do a vote on that. All those that wish to vote approve on that, say aye.
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 Okay, any nays? All right, that has been ratified. Okay. The next one to ratify is Keith Weindel. That'd be Assessors Plot Map 63, Lot 115, 17 Justa Avenue, zoned R20. Applicant is seeking a dimensional variance to construct a 24 by 24 foot garage. Do I have a,
Mr.
Motion
Chairman, I'll
to
make a motion.
ratify.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. We ratify that decision.
Second.
seconded by Keith?
Keith.
Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call vote on that. Russ, how do you vote on that? Yes to ratify?
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
Denise,
Yes.
Lenny,
Yes.
Chair also votes yes. Okay, next application is Kenneth Allen Jr., Assessors Plot Map 78, Lot 90, 518 Knotty Oak Road, Coventry, zoned R20. This was concerning dimensional variance to keep the existing shed 3 feet from the property line. Okay, do I have a motion to ratify this application?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. We ratify that decision.
Okay, Denise has made it. I need a second on that.
Second.
Seconded by Keith. Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call vote on that. Russ, how do you vote on that to approve?
Yes.
Keith, approve?
Yes.
Denise, approve.
Approve.
Okay, Lenny, approve.
Yes.
Chair also votes to approve. Okay, that one here has been ratified. The following one is Zac Eaton. This is plat map 74, lot 9, 419 Read Schoolhouse Zone, RR2. Application is seeking a dimensional variance and special use permit to construct a 30 by 60 foot garage, 28 feet in height on the westerly side of the property. Okay, do I have a motion to ratify this made by one of the members?
Mr. Chairman, I'll
moved.
make a motion to ratify that decision.
Second motion.
Denise has ratified it and seconded by Russ. I'm gonna do a roll call vote on that. Russ, how do you vote on that, to approve?
Yeah.
Keith,
Approve.
Denise,
Approve.
Lenny?
Approve.
Yes, and they are in favor of.
Yes, okay. Chairman approves also. Okay, the next application was Ross Pelletier and Michelle Pelletier. Assesses lot map 323, lot 193, 44 Allison Avenue. Zone R3, applicant is seeking to a dimensional variance and special use permit to construct a 26 by 24 addition on the northerly side of the home and expand the existing garage from 24 by 22 to 26 by 35. Do I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman,
Motion
I'll
to
make a
ratify.
motion, we ratify that decision.
Second it.
Denise made the motion to ratify. Russ is seconding that. And at this time here, I'd like to do a roll call vote. Russ, how do you vote on
Yes.
this?
Yes, approve.
Okay, Keith,
Approve.
Denise,
Approve.
Lenny,
Approve.
chair also approves. Okay, old business. This is the Riverview Nursing Home, Inc.
Chair, can I take attendance, please, before we get too far in?
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much. Please.
Bob Crow?
Here.
Denise DeGrade,
Here.
Keith Cludier,
Here.
Len Doeg,
Here.
and Russ Lockley.
Present.
Thank you.
Let the record reflect that we have 5 members to conduct business. Okay, on the old business now, Riverview Nursing Home. This one here, we heard it sometime, expanding a non-conform. Applicant seeking a special use permit to expand a non-conforming commercial use residential zone by demolishing existing house and abutting to create 21 additional parking spaces.
Bobby, I thought we did this once before.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay,
They're
this
looking for an
is,
It's an
extension.
extension.
this
Oh,
is only an
okay.
extension. Okay, no, that was good, Denise, because I was questioning that myself. Okay, so this is the vote on to approve an extension. I don't see
Correct.
any problem. Why not?
No problem with that.
No
I don't
problem.
see any, yeah, I don't see any problem with that.
Okay, we'll vote on this tonight. I'll do a roll call vote on this. Russ, how do you vote on this? To approve the extension?
Approve with the extension.
Okay, Russ, Keith rather.
Approve.
Okay, Denise,
Approve.
Lenny,
Approve.
Chair also approves. Okay. Continuing along, we have Riverview Nursing Home, and then we have, okay, we have a new application. Oh, no, we have the Michael Conlon. This is
Arlene,
Laney, okay, thank you. This is assessors lot map 22, lot 3106, Johnson Boulevard. The applicant is seeking a dimensional variance for previously constructed shed that is 9.5 feet from the property line where 25 feet is required. Okay, we voted to make sure everybody went out and saw this. This individual got a city cut. Actually, everything was done after the fact, to be honest with, that's what the record reveals and reviewing the minutes of the last meeting, I could not see anywhere in the minutes of the meeting. Everything was done afterwards.
And that included after cease and desist were ordered as well.
I agree on that. So I do not see, I personally do not see any reason to approve the application as presented. Do I have some other input here?
It is also my recommendation
Mhm.
that the application not be approved.
All right, Denise, how do you feel on this?
Well, yeah, after the fact is always very difficult, but I do agree with you, Bob. I don't think we should go ahead with this.
Are there any penalties for this?
I would not at this time impose any penalties since Kerry didn't put anything in there.
They,
And
just to answer that question, there are no penalties imposed at this juncture, because as soon as we got a phone call that he was building, he was to come down and apply for a building permit. However, once we started looking at the project, he needed a variance. But then after that, even while we were waiting for his application, even after his application was submitted, he then continued to completely build the whole project, including performing the curb cut.
Wow.
No, you're incorrect.
I'm not incorrect. I have it
You
all
are
on paper.
incorrect. Ricky Rivers did the curb cut and he got the permit the day he did it.
Who's
After,
talking?
No,
because
he
Kevin
did not.
McGee went down, the permit, the curb cut permit was issued after the job was already done, and it was testified at the last meeting.
Testified by who?
okay, I'm sorry. Anything addressed will be addressed to me.
Who's talking?
Wish to address it.
Mr. Chairman, not once did I receive a registered letter like I had to send out to 19 people by this woman, Kerry, or a cease and desist letter from anyone from the town of Coventry. I never received any correspondence as such. Never.
At this time here, Kerry, did you send one out?
Just let me grab the file. He was also spoken to by our former building inspector, Dan
No one
Robitaille.
spoke to me from the town directly. No one.
That wasn't brought up at the last meeting.
No, you never gave me a chance to speak.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a comment? We are not here on a appeal of any action taken by Kerry. He's applied to the board for a dimensional variance. That's what's before the board. Whether or not he was notified about him acting illegally is not relevant here. It's whether or not he meets the criteria for a dimensional variance. I think you've arrived at the conclusion that he does not, based upon his prior testimony and your
What
viewing of,
prior testimony, ma'am?
the last hearing. The hearing at the last meeting.
I didn't give any testimony in the last
Well,
meeting.
it's Mr. Carlini, it's your burden to show that you have met the requirements of the dimensional variance of the zoning ordinance of the town of
I believe I have. I believe I
well-
have. No one has complained. None of my neighbors, none of the 19 people that I sent the certified letters, which
Okay,
I
no,
did
you
not
have
get
not-
that
That's-
respect in
Excuse me,
return.
sir. You did not demonstrate in any way how you met the criterias to do this.
I filled out all the necessary paperwork.
That's not the criteria. That's only one part.
What criteria? I was never officially notified by the town of Coventry. some guy saying something to some guy saying to some guy is not official notification of anything.
Right, but you need to seek for a dimensional variance to construct the shed 9 feet from the 9.5 feet from the property line, and to increase the size of it. You have not shown
Variance
us-
was for the distance to the property line.
was no testimony given.
I understand I did things backwards, but I was trying to get things done because my mom is failing in health. And I described that throughout the whole paperwork that I submitted. Yeah, I wasn't thinking clearly, but you know, I was trying to get another whole household here so I could rent the other house that I was living with so I could be with my mom 24/7 because of dementia. I was clearly overburdened with responsibility, and I might have done things incorrectly. So I don't believe I'm asking not to be held, yeah, I don't, how do I say it correctly? Held against, I was just trying to do the right thing by my mom.
Yeah, if he has nothing more to add, I think you can go ahead and vote, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I thank you. Okay, at this time here, I'd like to have a roll call vote on this application to approve or reject. Actually, the dimensional variance, which is be required. At this time, here's the chair. I vote to reject. Russ, how do you vote?
I'm gonna go back to what Jane said. We're here to talk about he's looking for a special use permit and a dimensional variance. I mean, I've looked at the shed. I don't really have a really giant problem with it. I'm hesitant to, I'm gonna approve the, his
Mr.
request.
Lockley, I just want to tell you that there was an issue as far as the building inspector at the time was unsure of the weight load for the way they attached the new shed and the old shed together because the old shed had been there. So
You're
that,
bringing in something totally different than a variance. I will gladly have the inspector come and see the inside and show how it was designed properly with all the weight load that you're talking about already engineered in. I have 3 LVLs, cantilevered over, and I have another set of 3 LVLs at the back of it, taking all weight off the shed. This has got nothing to do with the variance.
Okay, Russ, that's how you feel?
Yeah.
Well, let's clarify one thing. Is it a special use permit and a dimensional variance?
Well, that's
dimensional variance.
No.
Just a dimensional variance?
Dimensional variance is what I understand.
Okay, so what we need is a motion on the vote, whether you're gonna move to approve or reject.
Or reject.
Right, so far we'll have 1 approval and 1 rejection.
That's correct.
Okay,
my paperwork says that the applicant seeking a special use permit and a dimensional variance to construct the 576-foot garage, I'm reading the wrong one. Sorry, my bad.
okay, so it's just a
He's
dimensional.
looking for a dimensional variance for a previously constructed shed that's 9.5 feet from the property line where 25 is requested. My vote right now is that I don't have a problem with that piece of it. The other part of it, I have a lot of concerns with. And we can't you can't tell me you live in the town all these years and don't realize that you need a permit to do things. I'm not buying that.
I moved back to Coventry. I have not been living here all this time.
Okay,
And
well,
the whole time, just 1 second, this whole time that my family has lived at this property, the last 46 years, we've always known that to be the backyard. We didn't find out until just recently that the side yard. Really, we're just lay people here.
I understand that. Okay, at this time here, sir, I'm gonna see if there's anybody else who would like to speak on this application. Is there anybody here who would like to speak on this application? Okay. Nobody like to speak on it. I'd like to continue the vote, at this time here. Denise, how do you vote on this application?
Well, Bobby, speaking about the dimensional variance alone, 9.5 feet from the property line where 25 is required, we have approved sheds closer to a property line than the 9.5 feet. So on the dimensional variance alone, I am going to approve that.
Okay. My next is Lenny. How do you approve? How do you vote on this?
I agree with Denise. Just this part of it isn't an issue. Everything else is, well, we'll bring that up later.
Keith, how do you vote on this?
I'm on the mindset of the last two, Bob. I looked at it and it's really not that obtrusive with the 6-foot fence around it. And like Denise said, we have approved closer ones. So I'm going to approve it.
Okay. So that leaves the application approved.
Mr. Chairman, may I say something?
Yep.
I am willing, I understand I've done things half-assed backwards. And I am willing to work with the town and pay the proper permits. I'm not trying to get out of that responsibility at all. And I fully understand that I do owe the town permits, application fees and such. I am totally willing to work with the town with that.
Would you also be willing to have the building inspector come down and take a look at your the construction of your shed, just to put that matter to bed?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. As long as he gives me a call ahead of time so I can make sure mom's all set.
Mr. Chairman, could I add that as a stipulation to my vote?
You can. Is anybody else who'd like to join Russ on that stipulation?
I'll approve it with the stipulation.
Thank you.
I will also, Bob, Keith.
I'll also
Okay,
along with that, the stipulations.
stipulation, okay. So that application is only approved with the stipulation of approval by the building inspector, but also with filling out the proper paperwork and going through the process. I think he's gonna have to return here because he expanded the shed. I'm not sure, but Kerry, you can help me out with this?
Yeah, I'll have to have a conversation with Russell and Jane on this and find out how to proceed from here.
Correct.
I don't see why that he would have to come back, to be honest with you.
Right.
You granted the variance.
Right.
You approve the variance. He's gonna have to get a permit from the building official. I don't know what future role this board would play in this action.
You're probably 100% correct. I did not know myself, but I do know that the footings would have to be inspected. Any electrical out there. the
Nothing. There's no
structural-
electric, no plumbing, no heat, nothing. All it is a shed.
And he'd also have to have the structural approved. Okay.
That's all been documented and he's, feel free to come down and inspect. I have no problem with that, sir.
Okay, at this time here, Kerry and Jane, you will take over this here process.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Applications approved with stipulations.
Thank you,
Okay,
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, next.
Next application is Ron and Lisa Flynn. The are the owners. The applicant is the same. Location is AP 60, lot 64, 21 Calvintown Road. Zone is R20. Applicants are seeking a dimensional variance of 34 feet in relief for the 120 frontage requirement.
Okay, is Mr. Flynn here?
Yes, I am. He's being represented by Mr. Cronin, who is muted.
My
Mr.
apologies,
Cronin.
Mr. Chairman. Thomas Cronin for the applicant, Ron and Lisa Flynn. I'm joined by Mark Boyer, licensed surveyor.
You gonna give testimony, sir?
I am.
I'm gonna ask you, raise your right hand. You swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in front of this board?
I do.
Okay.
Would you like to swear in Mr. Boyer at this time? or
Yes,
you
I
pref-
would. It'd be much easier if I could see him and swear him in.
He is present.
I'm right here,
He's
Mr.
there
Chairman.
with his hand
Hey,
raised.
Mr. Boyer, okay. You have your right hand up. You swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in front of this board?
I do.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank
is
you, Mr.
anybody-
Chairman.
Yep.
May I proceed? Okay, as you mentioned, Ron and Lisa Flynn are the applicants, 21 Calvintown Road, plat 60, lot 64. It's in an R20 zone. The current lot is 1.33 acres. The proposal would split this one residential lot into two residential lots. Ron and Lisa intend to build a home on the new lot with his wife, and the daughter will reside in the existing home, hopefully. This is on Calvintown Road. We got Alvaro Road, I don't know. I mispronounce that
Alvaro.
constantly. Yeah, thank you.
Alvaro.
Yep. To the north, Calvintown Road to the west, and residential homes to the north and east. This is a residential area with single-family homes. That's the predominant use, probably the only use in the area. The two proposed lots will comply with the R20 zoning requirements as they have been designed, with the exception of the frontage requirement, which is 120 feet for an R20 zone. It's been designed with 86 feet of frontage, and the relief requested, as mentioned, is 34 feet. We have appeared before Coventry Planning Board in September 2020. They've given preliminary approval to the plan, and they have made that approval conditional on the zoning approval of the frontage variance. It's an interesting lot. The existing lot has more than enough frontage for each of the proposed lots to have 120 feet of frontage as required by the ordinance, but the lot itself is not rectangular in shape. It's irregular in shape, 35 feet in depth on one end and over 300 feet in depth on the other. And this existing condition is driving what we're proposing here. So there's two reasons that we're submitting for our request here, and that is the irregular shape of the lot and in the town of Coventry's stated preference for straight and predictable boundary lines. We could create a lot without request for a variance, but the lot would have an irregular property line. The Mark Boyers, the surveyor who designed what we have submitted here, and rather than duplicate his efforts, I'm going to introduce him and have him describe the lot, and then come back and talk to you about the standards. Mr. Boyer?
Thanks, Tom. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. As Mr. Cronin said, the lot as presented on this plan is 86 feet of frontage. Initially, the plan that was submitted to for an administrative variance had 90 feet, which would conform with the minimum requirements for an administrative variance. That property line extended roughly for a small triangular portion at the southwest corner of the property and encompassed about 3.5 feet of the existing driveway for the Flynn's residence. When that was denied, the mindset was, instead of leaving and asking for that variance of the 30 feet with an easement to move the property line 4 feet further north to avoid having an easement on the existing house lot and make the frontage for the proposed lot at 86 feet. The lot conforms to all the zoning regulations. And we did create another plan that shows what the lot would look like if, in fact, it did meet the 120 feet that's required by zoning. And I believe Mr. Crossman has a copy of that. I don't know if you want to put that up, Russell? Maybe not. So you can see at the southwest corner, the lot extent, the proposed lot line would extend actually in front of the existing residence. It was, so they could meet zoning with the 120 feet of frontage, but it would make, the lot would not be desirable. It would create problems. You would need easements across the paved driveway. And the new lot line, the new property would actually own a small portion of property in front of the existing residence. That was the mindset for asking for the 86 feet of, or the frontage for 86 feet.
Okay, now correct me if I'm wrong. So with this plan here, this meets all the criterias of the town zoning, correct?
That is correct.
So this meets everything. You wouldn't have to come in front of this board.
That's correct. If this went forward with the planning board, and Russell or Tom, please correct me if I'm saying this wrong. They would either need to eliminate that driveway or create an easement across the new lot for that driveway to continue being there.
It would, you're correct. With the other application, with the straight line, it wouldn't make it neater and cleaner.
That's correct.
All right, but this here would make it within the zoning permits, I guess you would call.
Yes, I believe so, if I understand what you're saying.
Bobby, making it, kind of catty corner like this, it is gonna give him the 100 feet of frontage, but it's gonna leave a mess.
I agree with you, Denise, but I wanted to make sure I was clear on that I didn't quite understand it at first.
Right. I mean, we're not creating any undersized lots here. So, I think I would rather see a clean straight line and give them the relief on the frontage.
Me too.
I agree with you. So, and that's the only thing that's in front of us. Am I correct? Right.
That is correct, Mr. Crowe. It's just the frontage relief. The lot is conforming in all other ways. It's just in a regularly shaped lot, so that the existing residence, when it was built, really couldn't have been pushed any further to the south, so it ended up where it did. But now we have a nice deep lot. We could turn into a rectangle, but that we have to deal with the existing home. So we're trying to make a nice clean separation between the two. So going into the future, we have a predictable boundary line between the two parcels.
I kind of agree. Let me see what the rest of the board. Russ, how do you feel on this?
Looking at what we have, I think that makes the most sense. I mean, it's just like Denise said, it's nice and clean. It's going to fit there well. Makes sense to me.
Lenny, how do you feel?
I agree with the rest of the party. I think it's nice and clean and neat. I like it.
Keith?
I agree also, Bob. I think it's a sensible solution. It doesn't get all muddled with the variances. I mean, easements and all that. I think it's a nice clean line.
Let me see if there's anybody here that would like to speak about this application. Does anybody like to speak on this application? Nobody's out there to speak on this application at all?
anyone would like to speak, please raise your hand if you're an attendee and you'd like to speak about this. Mr. Chairman, I see no hands.
Okay, all right, thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. We vote on this tonight.
Second it.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Nays? Ayes have it. Okay, at this time here, I'd like to do a roll call vote on this. And Keith, how do you vote on this to approve?
Approve as presented.
Okay, Lenny,
Approve as presented.
Denise,
Approve as presented.
Russ,
Approve this presented.
Chair also approves as presented. I thank you.
Thank you. I
Application
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Happy New Year.
You too.
okay, next application, please.
Next application is Leonard and Ann Heath. The location is AP 15, lot 34, 410 Arnold Road. Zone is R20. Applicant is seeking a special use permit to operate a locksmith business and a dimensional variance to place a shed 21 feet from the northerly property line where 25 feet is required. There's an error there.
I believe it's 18 feet after our
18.
correction.
Okay, yeah, there was some confusion when we were doing the application, so I'm sorry. Let that stand corrected. Place the shed 18 feet from the northerly property line where 25 feet is required.
Okay, we had this come up and we spoke about it. Am I correct? Didn't we? have something?
Yes, we did. By the way, I'm Christian Tracy from Inman and Torgy. I'm representing Mr. Leonard and Ann Heath in their application for a special use permit and a dimensional variance on the property. We previously were before this board this summer. It was decided that the best course of action would be to move the shed, which was put up mistakenly and improperly by Mr. Heath originally, where currently it is on the right side of the house. And we determined that the best thing to do would be to move the shed and put it on the left side of the house when you're on Arnold Road facing the property, and determined that we should work with the town, go back to the planning board and come up with a solution to try to work out a solution that works best for the town and Mr. Heath.
Okay, I'm just going to interrupt you for 1 minute. You're
Yes.
giving testimony, so I must swear you in. Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in front of this board?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Continue.
So after we were originally before the zoning board, I ended up meeting with Russell. We discussed the idea of fencing the structure in the yard, and Mr. Heath drawn up a plan where the structure would be positioned to the left of the house with enough room to access the electrical unit that's on the end of the house there, which would be, so it'd be 4 feet 9 inches away from the residential property, and then 18 feet away from the property line, instead of the required 25 feet, and extending an existing stockade fence to the front of where the residential structure is, and then along the front of the proposed structure, doing a 4-foot picket fence in order to fence in the property. And so that is what Mr. Heath is prepared to do with the existing structure, is move it. And I know that when we previously met, there was some discussion regarding the locksmithing business, and if it would be more appropriate for people to be able to pull up to the side on Larch Road over there, as opposed to having to back out of the driveway on the busier Arnold Road. So that's why we determined that moving it over there would be the best course of action for Mr. Heath, and he's prepared to do that. With regards to its location, Arnold Road is spot zoning. We were before the planning board. We got a favorable recommendation regarding Mr. Heath's special use permit. And so today we're here for the dimensional variance because the shed would only be 18 feet from the property line as opposed to the required 25 feet. And then also to get the special use permit for him to operate his locksmithing operation on the property.
So you're proposing you're gonna put the shed, the locksmith operation on the left side of the property, and you're gonna have entrance to the locksmith office from that side road. You will not have any entrance off of Arnold Road due to safety.
Correct.
So that's gonna be paved right up to it?
We have not, Mr. Heath and I have not had, not speak regarding the parking situation on Larch Road. It was only discussed as to that would be the safer entry point. But regarding if it would had to be paved or if stones needed to go down, I don't know if we have not discussed that.
Okay, I'm gonna turn to, at this time here, Russ Crossman. You're better at planning than.
Yeah, let me help you out here for a minute. I want to do a screen share. Let me bring this over here. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can, yep.
Okay, so what we're looking at, this is Mr. Heath's house. This is the side of this is Arnold Road over here. This is Lodge Road. What he's looking to do, and he went back at the zoning board's recommendation, he did appear back before the planning commission. He's going to place it right up in here, next to the house, right up in this rear corner.
And I
what
don't
he's
have
gonna
that plan that you're talking about. I just have
Yeah.
a not to scale plan.
Right. Well, that's why I'm showing you this aerial photograph that I thought would be more helpful.
You're
I
not,
don't
we're
have
not
an
seeing
aerial
it.
photograph. I
We're
don't
not
have-
seeing it.
Okay, hold on a minute. Let me see what I got here.
I got it.
Everybody else has it?
No, I
No,
have a drawing of the shed.
Yeah, I got a drawing.
Okay, stop. Hold on a minute. Let me try one more thing. Screen share. Let's try this. How's that? What do you
That's
see
better.
there?
Yes.
Yeah.
side view of the house.
Thank you. Okay,
The
So-
view from Lodge Drive.
fine, perfect. So what he wants to do is he's going to be putting the shed right over here, up in this rear corner. On the side of the house right here. And what he's proposing is he's going to bring the fence down and then bring the fence up. So this will be fenced in now. So it technically will be in his backyard. It's not going to be like it is on the other side of the house, you know. See, if you remember, it was right there, right up on the property line.
Oh, yeah.
It was right, that's where it presently is. We were not in favor of that. So what he's agreed to do, and the planning commission agreed, who, if you remember correctly, I don't believe, I don't know if they sent you a negative recommendation or they failed to send you a recommendation, but they were not in favor of it. But they did recommend approval to placing it right in this general location. It'll be roughly 4 feet 9 inches off the house. And then they're going to continue with the fence down here and then across to the front of the house.
Russell, why was it chosen to be 4 feet 9 inches from the house? Is that because of the side setback?
No, I really don't know why the gentleman chose that. I do believe what I'm thinking is, if you notice, Denise, his electrical meters are right here.
Right,
In case somebody had to get in to do some service.
right,
I see his cable right here also.
right.
I think it was so if they wanted to even clean the windows. I think
No.
it was so you could have access to the house.
No, I understand that. I'm just wondering why it isn't a little further away from the house.
I think then you're just increasing the amount of variance you're gonna ask for.
Okay.
I
Also,
think
you're
that's
gonna
all.
Make off-street parking, would it be, with the size?
to be honest, Bob, I do not anticipate that this gentleman is going to be getting people stopping in off the street to use,
But this
to get
goes with
keys.
this goes with the property, and it could change hands to be something else later on. And now that we've allowed this, we can't just tell them it can only be a locksmith there. It goes
Why
with the
not?
property.
We can't stipulate to that, Bob?
Why couldn't we?
You stipulate the in-laws.
You stipulate the in-laws, but we have
Stipulate that
not
if
been
it
able to
ceases to be a,
stipulate, it'd be considered the business, it'd be compelling to commercial business.
Could I have Jane opine
Yeah,
on that?
no, Bob, I think in this case with a special use permit, you can put the same conditions that if he transfers the property either by gift or sale, that whoever is the new owner has to come back before the zoning board.
We lost that in cases. It's the property, not the use that
Right.
we're zoning. So not the use, it's the property. We're making it a commercial event.
No, we're
property.
we're saying in this instant only, we
I
are
got no
allowing.
complaints with doing it commercial because of the
No, you're
location.
you're not rezoning the property as commercial. You're giving a special use permit to allow a locksmith shop only. And if anything changes, they have to come back before the board for permission.
I like that, but I don't agree with you.
It's
I don't
not,
think,
it's,
I don't think
That's
we have
fine.
the power to change zoning.
no, only the town council can change the zoning in that
Right, but we
area.
can change the zoning use from commercial, industrial to one of the uses we have. We
By
cannot
special
make,
use permit, but you have the power to put conditions on a special use permit. And one of the conditions can be a sunset provision that says if he sells his property, it does not go with the property, it expires. It's the same thing as an in-law apartment.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
I can live with that too, but I know we've lost on this.
Well, I guess I'd be the one having to defend it if I'm wrong, but I'm quite sure I'm correct.
We strictly zone the property. We do not zone the use.
Well, the zoning ordinance says that you can give this type of permission and you can put conditions on your permission. So you can say, when he sells it, this special use permit expires. Or if he conveys it in any way, or if he
We
ceases
can make that a
to.
stipulation.
That's correct.
Okay, now, Russ, how do you propose, you're gonna pave this right up to it? Or how are you gonna propose to do this? Or we leave this
I
up to you?
I don't envision any paving whatsoever. I don't.
But how are the people gonna park? What are they gonna park on, the grass?
Bob,
Curb.
you gotta understand, there's gonna be a fence across here right now. Okay, they're not gonna be able, and it's gonna be enclosed in his backyard. They're not gonna be able to drive up to this structure. It's gonna be enclosed in his backyard, surrounded by a fence. From testimony we heard at the last time, and maybe Mr. Heath could testify again this evening. This was mainly more of a workspace for him. He did not envision, hundreds of people stopping by and getting keys made on a daily basis. It was more of a workshop area because I believe he also has a truck that he works out of. But to be honest, with this use, I did not envision a large walk-in traffic. And
But even parking his truck, wouldn't he have to want to park his truck right near his where his workshop is, so he could just park his truck there?
he parks his truck right here now. This is his truck. See, it says Eagle Locks on
Right,
the
it's
side.
right in front of his workshop. So wouldn't he want to do that at the other end?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't
Let's ask
believe
him.
so, because that's just
I just wanted to say that I think that was the original intent of where he originally positioned it. But when he realized that was not going to work for the town, he's willing to continue I mean, willing to operate it with having to traverse more of his yard to, operate, it's maintaining a workshop there. It's really is what he's using there. There's some equipment that, for key cutting that he felt was necessary to keep in a shed. And that's really the use of it, is more of a workshop than anything else.
But wouldn't he want to park near his wood shop so he wouldn't have to back out onto Arnold Road?
I think in an ideal world, he probably would, but he's willing to, make
Well,
this.
I'm willing to say, I feel, I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but he should be able to park his service truck right with his.
I guess the only thing with that is then, I do know that Mr. Heath is willing to fence in the property to appease people. So I don't know how the driveway would work with the fencing in or anything like that. He really just wants to be able to keep the shed on the property and, be able to operate his locksmithing equipment.
Okay. All right. I would like to, if I don't know how the rest of the board feels, to leave this up to the town planner on how. I got no complaints on putting the shed where he proposed and where the planning board proposed, but I also have no complaints if he wished to, for safety reasons and not to back out onto Arnold Road, is to be able to back out on that side street there. And like he says, park right there. I just have no complaints with that. I don't know how the rest of the board feels. Denise, how do you feel on this?
Bobby, I think he currently backs into his driveway anyway. So he pulls out onto Arnold Road. I don't think he has to back out onto Arnold Road. And if he's willing to move it to the other side, and he's also willing to fence in that property. So, it protects his shop, from any possible vandalism or, theft. And, if he wants to park his driveway, park his truck in the driveway, and then, access his shed by, crossing his yard, I have no problem with that.
That's what I'm saying. I got no problems with it, but I'm almost trying to solve a future problem where if he wanted to park over there also.
But he
I got no complaints with that.
He really can't, Bob. Let me just explain. I'm guesstimating that this fence, I'm going to guess it's roughly 6 feet off the edge of pavement. Okay? And he's agreed to bring this fence following that same line and then coming across to the house. So this fence will be 6 feet off the pavement. He's not going to have room to park a car there. He's not going to be able to drive a car right up to the shed. And I just want to say one more thing. If he had a 2-ton piece of equipment that he needed to get into his shed. If you look right here, he has a little driveway and gates right here that lead into his backyard, where he personally could drive a truck in, because I believe he used to, I don't know if he still does, but he used to keep campers or trailers in his backyard where he could pull in and drive up to the shed. Okay. If he needed to.
Have you had any, Russ Lockley, do I have any input from you?
He's not asking for a parking lot on the side, and I share what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but if he's not asking for any latitude on that, then I don't think we need to do it. And what Russ is saying is, like, if he wanted to, he could just come in from the back and do what he needs to do. So I don't have a problem with it at all, putting it over there.
Okay, as presented. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Keith, how about you?
My only question is the front door of the shed, the business, is that gonna face Larch Road or Arnold Road?
Arnold Road.
All right, so it's just flip-flopping from one side of the house to the other?
Exactly.
Okay. No, I'm okay with it.
Okay, Lenny?
I feel it's a lot safer the way it's designed now. Because, if you're not parking on any side, and if you wanted to leave, it's safer just to go down the road, Lock Road, and turn around and come right back out onto Arnold Road. I think it's a lot safer than coming in from the way it is now.
Miss Kate.
time as to when she's coming in.
Okay, does anybody else like to speak on this application?
I didn't hear that last comment.
It sounds funny. What I call, that's okay.
Speaking.
I don't know who that is.
All right. You can always text me this information. I'm trying to figure out when I'm gonna pick you up and when I'm gonna drop you off.
Oh, somebody's having a side conversation.
Is he Mr. Wazika's house? Because he's not muted. He's muted now.
Talking to my granddaughter, sorry.
Thought you were in Acapulco for a minute.
Okay, is there anybody else who'd like to speak on this application?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we vote on this tonight.
Second,
Okay, but I have nobody that would like to speak on this application in the audience.
Mr. Chair, there is no one raising their hand. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to be heard on this application here this evening? I have nobody raising their hand, sir.
Okay, I have a motion that we vote on this tonight by Keith. And do I have a second on that?
Seconded.
Seconded by Russ. All those in favor say aye.
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 Nays? Ayes have it. Okay, at this time here, I'd like to do a roll call vote on this. Keith, how do you vote on this application?
Mr. Chairman, do we have to do two votes? One for the special use permit and then one for the dimensional variance?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
And
Special use,
on the vote for the special use permit, didn't you want to add a sunset provision that it expires upon the sale of the property?
Yes.
Okay.
approval with stipulation of it expires upon. Okay. All right, okay, Keith, how do you vote on the special use permit?
I approve with this stipulation noted.
Russ,
Approve with stipulation.
Denise,
Approve with stipulations.
Lenny?
Approve with stipulation.
I also approve with stipulation. That's for the special use. Now for the variance. Keith, how do you vote?
Approve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Russ, how do you vote?
Approve.
Denise,
Approve.
Lenny?
Approve.
I also approve. Application's approved. Okay, next application, please.
The next application, owner and applicant is David S. Mooney. The location is AP 38, lot 125, 97 Sandy Bottom Road. Zone is general business. Applicant is seeking a special use permit to allow for the use of a one-bedroom apartment to be utilized by the owner of the business as his residence, thereby making it an owner-occupied business.
Okay, do I have the applicant here?
The applicant is represented by myself, Mr. Chairman, Gene Belanger for the applicant, David Mooney. He is present in my office, but he's off camera. He has no capability to do this on his own. He doesn't have any internet and so forth.
You're going to give testimony, sir.
I believe I am, yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand so I can swear you in. You swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth in front of this board?
I do.
Thank you. Okay, please present your application.
Okay. I believe everybody on the board is familiar with Sandy Bottom Bait and Tackle. They've been there for quite a while. They've been there at that site since 1992. Excuse me. And the applicant, Mr. Mooney, acquired the property in 1997. And as a result of a divorce in 2016, he was finding himself in great need of a place to reside as a result of a divorce. So having no other alternative but to turn to his place of business, he converted the existing building, just the inside, into a living space and into a bait and tackle shop. So what he did is he reduced the existing 1,557 square feet of the tackle shop and took 756 square feet of it to make a living space, which is, I believe, detailed in the planning board report that I believe everybody has in front of them at some point. And since that time, he's been living there peacefully with no complaints from anyone that we're aware of. And since 2016, it's been almost, that's going on 5 years. And he's seeking at this point a special use permit to make that into an existing residence under the zoning regulations, because the zoning regulations do allow for a residential above a residential family 1 and 2 bedroom apartment above a commercial use. And it's not his fault that this building was not a 2-story building, so he couldn't build a 2nd story to it. I guess you always could build a 2nd story to it, but it didn't seem practical at the time, especially with the money considerations. And that's where he finds himself. So he's asking this board to approve, at least that it would comply with the zoning requirements under the zoning laws as we have them now. And also he's going to planning to seek their approval of their recommendation. And he got the unanimous recommendation in as much as he's asking only for himself. He's not seeking to make this into an apartment building, or if he were to move away, rent it out to somebody else and all of that stuff. So he'd gladly accept stipulations that if he moves or sells it or whatever the case may be, that there's a sunset on it right then and there. So that's what his application is all about, feeling that he complies with the zoning and everything else. That's where we stand.
Yeah, I thank you very much. Okay, so he's currently there now, and like you said, he's been there since what year?
2016.
2016. There has been no complaints or no nothing.
Correct.
Okay. And apparently he seems to be running it very well. I have no complaints on this application, and it looks like he's thought this out because it's been there since 2016, you're saying? Let me see what other board members have to say. Russ Lockley, how do you feel on this?
I actually have no complaints at all. I would just would want to make sure that the living space conforms to the building codes, that, you know, maybe they have the building inspector go over there and check on, make sure that everything's up to code.
Lenny, how do you feel on this?
I feel it's fine. Like Russ Lacklade said, it's as long as it meets code, we're good.
Okay, Keith?
I agree with them, as long as it meets the building inspector code and we put the sunset clause in there, I'd be okay with it.
Denise?
Is this a case where the work was done without pulling any permits?
I believe that's correct.
Okay.
Again, it was not done with a nefarious intent to try to avoid any fees. He just was in a financial bind and said, I need a place to stay, need a place to live. And he just converted the space over, not realizing.
Okay. Yeah, I think as long as we can get the building inspector to go in there and make sure that everything is up to code, then I don't have a problem with it.
Stipulation. Okay, and do I have a motion? Is there anybody here that'd like to speak on this application in the audience?
Is there anybody in the audience who would like to be heard on this matter here this evening? Mr. Chair, I see nobody with any hands raised.
Okay, I need a motion to vote on this tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Who made it? Lenny?
Russ.
Russ, I'm sorry, Russ. And Keith, you seconded it? Okay,
Yes,
all
sir.
those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, nays? Ayes have it. Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call vote. Russ Lockley, how do you vote on this application?
Mr. Chairman, one little thing. I just want to make sure that the conditions are, I have them correctly. Building inspector has to go and make sure it's up to code, and that the special use permit expires upon the vacating or sale of the property.
commercial, it's allowed. I don't think that would be required.
Mr. Chair, if I may, it was a recommendation from the planning staff, I believe.
What's the recommendation from the planning staff? I got the planning report here.
It was basically what you referred, Mr. Cloutier referred to as the sunset clause.
Sunset clause, yeah, that's it, but that didn't say, you know,
Yeah, it's right in the report that the planning board residential use would terminate upon the sale or closure of the commercial use.
okay, as presented, then, as presented. Okay, I agree on that.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, if I may add, he should also have to pay any of those permit fees that should have been acquired to do this with involving the inspection. So he should have to pay those fees.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah. Okay. So
Yes,
that-
it's my understanding that he's gonna pull building permits now to get this. Yes, the work's been done, but in order to get the building official to certify that the work has been done, he is gonna have to physically apply for permits.
I agree.
And get professional tradesmen to testify that the work was done according to code.
Right, and then building inspectors still have to approve what was there. or what
Correct,
is
and
there.
I believe, and Russ can help me out on this, but I believe it's also gonna require the fire marshal, blessing as well.
That is correct.
Correct, okay. So we'd have to pull all those fees and permits, okay. All right, let's see now, Keith, you have anything you'd like to add to this?
No, I think we've got it covered with the stipulations that we come up with, Bob. I'm okay with the stipulations.
Did somebody make the motion that we vote on this tonight?
We already did that.
Already did that, okay, thank you, that's what I was checking, okay.
You
This
ready
time
for a roll-
here, I'd like to do a roll call vote. Russ Lockley, how do you vote?
Approve with stipulations already stated.
Keith, how do you vote?
Approve with the stated stipulations.
Denise, how do you vote?
Approve with stipulations.
Lenny, how do you vote?
Approve with the stipulations.
I also approve with stipulations as stated. Okay, applications approved with stipulations as stated, obtaining the permits and the inspections and the cost. All right, I thank you all. What's the next one?
Thank you, members of the board and Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Good night.
Right now.
That was the last item on the agenda.
Good, huh? Well, I see Miss Walker here. I didn't know if there was something special.
She's actually, for Mooney, so.
All right. I thank you all. Unless there's something else to discuss, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded?
Keith's made it. Russ has seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes. Ayes have it. Thank you all for coming.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Happy New
Okay.
Year, everybody.
Yep, Happy New Year,
Aye.
everybody.
Good night, thank you.
Night.